What's going on, y'all? I am back once again, and today we're going to be doing part 2 on how to make a slot car in Roblox Studio. And in this video we are going to be learning how to make lights, working lights, a working horn, working seats, new gauges, and a lot of new plugins, and just a lot of stuff that can make your car even more realistic and overall more enjoyable. So I do hope you guys enjoy the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers before June of 2025, my graduation, so I'd highly appreciate it. Spread the word, and yeah. But anyways, let's move on to the video. Okay, so firstly, we're going to start with the easiest thing, which is going to be a working horn. So we're going to go from the easiest stuff to the hardest stuff, and it's going to be quite a bit, but bear with me. So we are going to be doing a working horn first. So I will put all the links to all the models down in the description if you can't find them. But for now, we're going to do working horn in the toolbox. And under models, and it should be working FE friendly horn script, and it's going to be by David Paul. I will put the link to his model down in the description so you can use it. And literally all you need to do is to drag this underneath the drive seat right here. That's all you need to do, nothing else. You can also change the sound of the horn, so here's the default sound. But if you do want to change the sound of the horn, you can just type horn, and if I want like a train horn, for example, I can just insert that and then scroll down underneath that while it's selected, and then click this one time, sound ID, Control C, and then you can just get rid of this. And then you want to click on horn and then scroll down here to sound ID and do the same thing, click on it once, but press Control V, so you will paste the audio of the other horn that you prefer into there, and you changed your horn. So we can go in and test it, and let's see how it does. And there you go. So you got a working horn on your car, and it even works when you're outside of your car. So it's not only for you, it is for other people to hear in case you want your car to be public. And yeah, so that's going to be step 1. It's just a new horn. Alright, so next up we're going to be doing seats and proximity scripts. So if you don't know what a proximity script is, it's pretty much where like you go up to your car and there's like a little UI or a prompt that allows you to press a certain button to enter your car. So for example, like in some games, you might see where you have to press E to enter your car or enter and whatnot. So I'm going to be teaching you how to do that, and I will also teach you how to add more seats to your car. So first off, you're just going to want to go to model and then insert object, and then down here, or you can also search it up, it's going to be proximity prompt right here, and then you want to put that underneath your drive seat. And then you want to insert a script, which should be under model, and it's kind of around the same area. So you want to click on script, not local script, not module script, but just a regular plain script. So you want to enter that, and it should enter underneath the proximity script. It has to be underneath this or it won't work. And you can just get rid of this text right here. And then you have to paste this script right here, and I will put this down under the description so you can just copy and paste it without having to type all of it out. And yeah, so it's easy as that, and then you just want to click out of there. If you want to make it like actually work, you can just click on proximity script, and then the action text, this is pretty much like how you want, like what you want the action to be. So since this is a car, I want to drive it, so you want to put drive under here if you want to drive your car. Or if you're doing a passenger seat, you can just do enter, so you're like entering the car, and then you just want to scroll down a bit more. And then the hold duration, this is pretty much just like how long you have to hold down the button for, so I'll just do 1 second. And then the keyboard key code, this is like the keybind that allows you to enter your car. For me, I am going to do enter, just because it makes the most sense for me. And then the object text, this is going to be where you want to put the name of your vehicle. So since this is a Skoda Octavia, I'm just gonna put Octavia, for example, just the name of your car or whatever you're driving. And that's pretty much all you have to do. So, and then also one more thing is you want to click on drive seat, and then you want to scroll down, and you want to go to where it says can touch right here, and you want to uncheck that checkbox. This allows you to just like not enter your drive seat just from hovering over it or walking over it, and you have to use the proximity in order to enter your vehicle. And another thing, I do apologize, But underneath proximity script, you have to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to scroll down to like kind of under your parent or your object text, and right here where it says requires line of sight, you have to uncheck this box. Make sure that this box is empty and that there's no check mark, and that way you can enter it from any angle you desire, because line of sight is pretty much you have to directly face it in order to enter your car. And there you go, right there. It should pop up right there, and then you hold enter, and boom, you are inside of your car and you are driving it. So pretty sweet, really easy, just a cool little detail in case you don't want to just like kind of walk over your car and hope to enter. That is just an easier and more professional way. All right, and next up we are gonna do vehicle seats. So if you have more seats than one in your car, I'll just be showing you how to add more driver seats, or not driver seats, passenger seats, sorry. And it's just really simple, and you can probably just figure out by yourself, but I'm gonna show you just in case. So you want to go under model, and then you want to go all the way over here to where it says insert object. Click on that, and then you're just going to search up seat, and then you're going to enter just a regular seat, not a vehicle seat, because it is different and it kind of just like messes you up a bit and kind of sits you up higher. And then you want to make sure that it's anchored. So if it doesn't have a black box around the text right here, that means it's unanchored, which will fall, and other stuff, it's just not cooperate. So you want to click that and make sure that it's anchored, and then you want to scroll down here, and then you want to go to where it says collision, and you want to uncheck the box that says can collide. That way you just like won't hit it while you're trying to get in or whatever. And then you can scroll down further and click on massless and check that box. This way the only weight that your car is carrying is the weight that you set it to in the A chassis tune. So that way if you like add anything else to your car, it won't add weight, and it'll just all be up to the tune that you set it to. So, and then you can go to the very top right here, and you can just make it transparent. And sometimes the seats can like sit you up pretty high, so I'm just gonna put it pretty far under my seat and make it a bit small. And then that's all there is to it. Oh, and make sure that it's underneath body. Do not put it under the name of your car or the drive seat or anything. Just put it underneath body. Then you want to go into your car, and boom, you have another driver seat. Not driver seat, passenger seat, sorry, I said it again. But yeah, it's just easy as that. And then if you want to add more seats, it's just like adjust, you can just move it like this. But I have a 5-seater car, so I'm just gonna put more seats and copy and paste. And just like that, I have multiple seats in my car, and I'm not going to do proximity script on them, just because if you're driving the car, all those like proximity scripts are going to appear. So it's going to be like that if you're just driving your car, and it gets pretty annoying for me. So I just like keeping it a regular seat, not worrying about that. And there you go, just pretty easy, and you can seat more people, and yeah, just easy as that. And next up, we're going to do custom gauges. So what you want to do first is you want to go into toolbox, and then go to models, and then you want to search up Avana, just like that. And then you want to scroll down a bit or just look around until you see the 1988 Avana Zeta Space Wagon base. So this is where I got my my gauges from, and I just do not like the stock AC6 gauges. I think they're pretty ugly and just boring and bland. So you want to go under this Zeta Space Wagon, and then you just want to go underneath A chassis tune, go underneath plugins, and you're just gonna go to where it says AC6 Summit Gauges. So this is what you want, and then you can just click this and hold, and then you want to put it under your A chassis tune and put it in the same place. You're gonna want to put it under your plugins, under your A chassis tune, and then that's all you really need. You can just get rid of that, and boom, you have new gauges, and you can just get rid of the stock gauges. And this doesn't have to be particularly the Summit gauges. You can just search up in the toolbox whatever gauges that you want and just put them in yourself, but it may be a little bit different. But I'm just gonna do this because it's the most clean looking, and it's just the best gauges to put in the car in my opinion. So, and if you do want to, like, this is completely optional, you don't have to, but with these gauges, it does say hold right shift plus K to start. So if I enter in right here, it says press and hold right shift and K to start. If you're making your car public, I will show you how to change this. Again, it's completely optional, but I'll just recommend changing it, and it just looks a bit better. So you want to go underneath Summit Gauges right here, and then you want to click on engine off underscore body, and then you want to click that, and you just want to scroll down a little bit kind of like near the middle or the bottom, and you're just going to go to text right here where it says press and hold. It should start with that, and you can just click on this once and get rid of all of it. And then for my car, you gotta press F to start it up, so I'm just gonna do press F to start. And there you go. That's all you have to do. Just like kind of make it accustomed to what you did on the car, and that's all you got to do. So I'm just gonna hold enter, and then it should say press F to start, and it just works like regular A chassis gauges. And yeah, so it's just way more cleaner looking, way better looking. Clutchless manual is ST, manual is manual, and then automatic is automatic, of course. Pretty self-explanatory, but just really nice gauges, and I do definitely recommend them. There is going to be a little box down here that says controls, and it's just flashing, and I'm just going to teach you how to change the color on that box. It's really not a big deal at all. It's completely optional. I just think it looks better. And there's also these 4 squares right here, these green little squares. If you don't know what these are just like kind of like tire indicators, or like it lets you know the status of your tires and which tires you use the most. You just want to go to your plugins, and you want to go underneath SS6 dynamic friction. And if you want to get rid of those, you just got to get rid of background and get rid of tires, and do not get rid of anything else, because this is gonna mess up your tires and make your car undrivable. So just leave it at that, and that's all you have to do. And if you want to change the color of the control box, it's like an orangish kind of yellow color, and I want to change that, so I'm just gonna go underneath AC6 controls module, and you want to click on the blue script right underneath that. And then you want to go down to the very bottom, and you want to go to the one that says toggle background color 3, and if you click on it right here, it should show that same orange color, and you can just change it to whatever color you want. I'm going to change it to red to match my gauges, so I'm just going to move my cursor all the way up here and make it a bit darker, just like that. And I think that looks pretty good. Then you want to get out of that, commit the script if you have to, and then after that you want to go under here to where it says toggle, this green little box right here, and you want to scroll down a bit to where it says background color 3. That's just like the same orangish color, and I'm also going to change that to kind of a red that matches my gauges, and do the same thing. Click OK, and then just clean that all up. And then once you enter the car, the box should appear as the color that you set it to, and there you go. Again, this is completely optional. It doesn't affect anything. I just visually think it looks better, and yeah, that's all you really got to do for that. Alright, so next up on the list, we're going to do a custom ignition. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, but I have the perfect strat for you. So we're going to go into models under the toolbox, and you're going to search up RCC Bay ignition, spelled just like that, and it should be the result right here. Ignition plus crank sounds FE plus by Chet Zap, and you just want to insert that in. And then this is going to be a little tricky right here where it says move contents to drive seat. You just want to simply put that into the drive seat, and then you want to press Ctrl U, or you can just right click on it and group it, same thing. And there you go. That's all you got to do for that. You just want to do what is explained onto the names of the items, and then you want to put this into plugins just like that, and then you just ungroup it, and then boom, that's all you got to do, and that's all you need. And then underneath plugins, also make sure that you get rid of AC60 ignition, and that way your plugin will actually work. So if it's not working for you, then that is most likely why. And then this is the most important part, what you want to do, where it says kind of like this weird text .gg/ all that, you want to put that underneath a chassis interference. So you want to press that down, or click on that I should say, and then where it says values, this is where you want to put this thing in. So you want to click that, drag it, and drop it into values, and that is all you gotta do. So if you want to do that, it's just under values, a chassis interface, underneath a chassis tune, and that's all you have to do. And you can just get rid of that folder, you don't need it, and if you test it out, then it should work. So pretty simple like that, and of course you can always edit the values and change the startup sound, of course, and I will teach you how to do that right now. So where it says RCC Bay crank plus ignition, right here where it says crank key code, the blue highlighted letter, that's the keybind of how to turn on your car, and I'm going to be using F instead of G, so I'm going to insert F and then leave it, and it should be highlighted blue, and that's all you got to do if you want to change the keybind to your preferred keybind. So, and then if you don't want any crank at all, you just want a startup sound, then you can change these values to 0 and you get like no delay at all. You can just press F and boom, your car starts up, but you have a startup sound. So I'm gonna keep the crank though. The crank is just like returning the key, and that's pretty much it. So I'm just going to set these both to 0 because I don't really like cranking it that much. That sounds really bad, but I'm just gonna set these both to 0, and then I'm gonna try and find a startup sound. So I'll just search up startup in the audios right here, and then I want this one right here. So I'm just gonna insert that, and don't worry about it being under here. We're just gonna delete it anyway. But you want to do what we did with the horns, and you just want to scroll down right here to where it says sound ID. Click on that one time, Control C, and then you can get rid of this right here. And then you want to go to where it says engine startup right here, or just startup, and you want to click on that and then scroll down, same place, and then click on it once and Control V, enter, and there you go, you have a new startup sound. And for the engine crank, if you don't have one, you can just like set it to 0. But if you do want to crank, then you can just search up ignition or engine crank, and it should show up and you can get a bunch of results. Or if you can't find a good one, you can just search up a startup and just insert it into both the startup and engine crank, and it should be pretty similar. There will kind of be like a pause in between, but you can always like change that value in the ignition plus crank. You can kind of play with the startup offsets right here, and you should be good to go, so there's no like kind of glitchy sounds or anything. And I know that's kind of a lot, but it's really easy to figure out. You just gotta toy around with it a bit. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna do no crank, and I'm only gonna do a startup. So let's see how it sounds. And that's all there is to it. So now you have a custom startup in your car. Alright, next thing up, we are going to be getting into how to change your car sound. So this is probably the most important part, besides of course like your lights. But if you don't care about lights and you just want a nice good sounding car, what you gotta do is you gotta find a good sound plugin. So A-Chassis does come with one, but I don't know, I personally don't like it too much. The idle ID is just like what your car sounds like when it's sitting still. Your red line is what it sounds like when you're at high RPMs. Your engine ID is like what's coming from your hood, like your actual engine, and your exhaust ID is what comes out from your exhaust, so like kind of like the back. So I'm gonna search up Avana, and I will put this in the description, and it is going to be the Zeta Space Wagon, the same car that we used for our ignition, or not ignition, our gauges, sorry. And then you want to go underneath that, and then you want to go under A-Chassis Custom Tune, and you want to go under plugins, and then right here is where it says Simplified Sounds. You want to click on that and hold, and then you want to drag it into your plugins, so right here. And then you want to get rid of Engine Sounds, the default one, and there you go. Now you got Simplified Sounds, and that's all there is to it. And if you want to change the sounds, you just got to click under here, and under sound bank, and this is where you're going to change your sounds. So then you want to go to audios, and then since this car is an inline 4, I'm just going to search up i4, and then I'm just going to find a good example to put, and I'm going to do the idle first. So you just want to insert the idle or the sound that you want, and then you want to scroll down and then go to sound ID, and you probably know the gist of it. We've done this quite a few times, and then you can get rid of that, and then you just want to put it into where you want the sound to be, and that's all you have to do. And then you're just going to do that for the engine as well. Alright, once you get your values changed, you're just going to want to test it and press play, and then you want to see how everything comes together. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So you've successfully changed your sounds. You changed your horn, you got a new horn, you changed your gauges, you changed how your car starts up. So we're getting there, and we are making progress. Oh, and also before I move on, I will also show you how to change your induction sounds. So if your car does have a turbo and you don't like the stock sounds, then I can help you with that. So you want to search up an audio BOV, because that's the sound that your turbo makes when you let off the throttle. And then you can just find one that you like, go through all of these. There's like a little button right here so you can listen to a little preview. So I like this one right here, so I'm going to insert that, and I'm just going to copy and paste the audio and do the same thing that we did with our other audios. And then you want to go into Induction Sounds, and you want to just double click on that, and then right here where it says BOV ID, you want to double click on the ID that's in here, and then you want to press Control V. And then what you want to do next is you want to kind of click and hold right here between like the slashes and the numbers, and then you want to select the whole RBX asset ID, all this right here, and you want to delete that or press backspace, and then that's all you have to do. And then publish your draft if you have to publish any drafts, and then you press play and the sound should be changed. And if it is hard to hear, you can also change the volume of your BOV sound, and the default is 0.25, which is kind of quiet for me, so I'm gonna get rid of the 2 and I'm gonna put in an 8 just to make it pretty loud. I wouldn't go too much louder. And that's all there is to it. So you successfully have changed your engine sounds. Okay, now we're getting into the meat and bones. We are going to be adding lights to the car. And yeah, this is a really difficult process. Well, not really difficult. If you're a beginner, it can be difficult, but you really have to bear with me. So we gotta put this aside, we gotta get serious. So what you want to do, and I will put a link in the description, we have to search up epic lights, no space, and then space V4. So you want to search it up just like that, and then you want to click on that and insert it in. And this is going to be really difficult. So if you want lights on your car, you have to just insert it and then kind of like align it with your car. What I'd recommend doing is I'd recommend clicking on your car right here, and I'm actually going to rename this. You can rename your car as well, so Skoda Octavia, because that's the name of this car. And then you want to scroll down to where it says origin and then position, so you Control C, and then you want to click on the light plugin, Epic Lights V4, and then you want to scroll down to the same spot and then click it and then press Control V, and there you go. And then you can just move it up and adjust it a bit, and I will adjust the rest of the lights later. So what you want to do is where it says Epic Lights V4 and it has like the frame around it, the little orange square, you know, click and hold and drag that into your plugins. And then I'll go through the plugins right here real quick. So if you want to change the color of your lights, or if you want your lights to be LEDs, you can do that right here in configuration if you click down on Epic Lights V4. And if you double click on that, you have a lot of yes or no options here. So interior lights, that's if your car has interior lights, if you want some. I have never played with this, so I honestly can't tell you how to make this function, because it has not worked for me in the past. And same with door functionality. But if your car does have plate lights, you can enable plate lights. So if you want like a light shining down on your license plate, you just want to double click that, and then you want to put in true, all in lowercase. If you do it in uppercase, it won't work. And illuminated reflectors, that's just like lights up your reflectors and indicators when you turn your lights on. So if you don't want your indicators to be on while your lights are on, you can just keep that at false. And I do not know how to work trunk lights or door indicators, my apologies, but that's as far as I can go. And then low beam brightness is pretty self-explanatory. These are just how bright your lights are. And in light type, the stock one is incandescent, so that's where your lights kind of fade when you turn them on and off. If you just want your car's lights you turn directly on, like LEDs, then you can just double click that and press LED, or enter LED I should say, and it should be highlighted in green within the quotation marks. But mine is incandescent because it's an older car, so I'm going to keep it like that. And you can do the same for your running lights if your car has running lights. And then here are some pop-up options which I have never worked, so I'm really sorry. I have no idea how to do those either. And then you have headlight color. Incandescent is pretty much kind of like a tan orangish color, like a halogen light. And if you want your car to have like white lights, then you can just put white. I'm gonna do that for my car. Actually no, I'm gonna leave mine incandescent. Same goes with reverse lights. And then you can change your indicator colors to dark or light orange. I'm gonna change them into the light orange, and I'm gonna change mine. I'm gonna select all of this within the quotation marks, and I'm gonna just put it as red. So I want my rear indicators to be red, and you can do that. And same with your door indicators and your orange indicators, blah blah blah. And then fog lights, that's like the lights that are kind of integrated into your bumper near the bottom. If your car doesn't have those, then you can just kind of get rid of those or hide the lights or whatever, or just make the brightness 0. That's the easiest way to do it. Mine does not have fog lights, so I'm just going to make that 0. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And you can change your keybinds right here. H is our horn button, so I'm gonna get rid of that and change it to L. I feel like that's a way better keybind than H. And then these are just like all personal preference. This is all up to you. I'm just gonna keep it stock. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. And yeah, you got a whole bunch of options right here. It is really self-explanatory. So that's just a configuration alone, which is also quite a handful. But bear with me. You're just gonna put lights and drag it under your body just like this, and you want to get rid of Epic Lights V4, and you just want to make sure that only is to where it only says lights. Do not rename this, or otherwise the script won't recognize it and it'll bug out. So you just want to make sure it says lights. And then here we go. So I'm gonna be starting off with my headlights. I'm gonna work my way from front to back. So you're gonna go down to headlights if you're doing headlights first, and then you want to click down on low and then high as well, and then it should show L bricks right there, and that's pretty much just like, you know, where your L bricks are. And then my high beams are down there for whatever reason, so I'm just going to rotate them around, and you can rotate them around however you want. It does not really matter, as long as you don't delete them. If you do delete them, it will break your car. So if you don't want any specific lights, you can just make the brightness of them 0 like I did with my fog lights. And then your low beams are also gonna be in a weird place. It is pretty odd by itself, but I'm just gonna move that up just like this. And make sure that these bricks are kind of a ways away from your actual headlights. You don't want them to be directly in them, otherwise it'll kind of collide with other parts of the body and kind of have a weird shadow. So you want to make sure that they are in front to where they can actually illuminate. And then if you want your headlights to actually light up, what you're gonna do is you're gonna have to select the part of your headlights or your lights where you want it to actually be selected. So it's kind of marked out on this car for me already, but it's pretty much the same for your car. And then here is this is really important. What you want to do is you want to duplicate the mesh pretty much. So you want to press Control D, and then you want to get the move tool, and you want to move it just a little bit and make sure that it's off right here to where this box is not selected. And you just want to move it a little bit, because the thing is, if you turn on your lights while it's like directly inside the same mesh, like it hasn't moved, it will kind of glitch out and just be really buggy because it's in the same place and it doesn't know like which one's going to take over which, so they just start glitching out on each other. So you just want to make sure that it's quite a bit away from the original mesh, that way it doesn't have a weird buggy effect. And then with that being said, with the duplicated mesh, you want to click on it, or you can also click down here where it says name, and you want to type in LN in all caps. It has to be in all caps, and it has to say LN. That's all there is to it. And then you want to make that duplicated mesh fully transparent, and that's all there is to it. And then you gotta move this LN mesh, and you gotta put it into your designated respective spot. So these are my headlights. I'm gonna put this mesh in the headlights because that's what it's meant for. And then you can just duplicate that again for the headlights and put it into high beams if it's the same thing. And that's all there is to it. That's all you gotta do. And for my high beams, I'm just gonna duplicate this mesh as well. And it is a very simple process. It does seem like a bit at first, quite a lot, but trust me, it is super easy, and I really hope that it makes sense. You're just duplicating the meshes and putting them into the lights group. Pretty much just all you're doing, and it's just organizing it, and it's super easy, and everybody is having a fun time, and it's happiness and rainbows, and that's all there is to it. And then you want to do the same with the rear lights. And then go back through the whole video if you think you missed something or that it's not working. But once you get into your car and you press your key button to turn your lights on, they should show up, and then there are my high beams right there. And then here are my indicators going off. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. You can see the side indicators lighting up too. And if you turn on your car and you reverse, it should all show up perfectly well, and boom, you have lights on your car. It's as easy as that. So I really hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope it really helped you and inspired you to make your own car. Next episode, we are going to be doing working doors, as well as a vibrating engine or vibrating exhaust, one of the two. And yeah, that's pretty much all there's going to be to it for this video. Yeah, it's just there is a lot more to go through. These are just kind of the basic fundamentals, but I hope you guys did really enjoy it and that you got some good inspiration and tips. Oh yeah, and we also are going to be doing a working steering wheel and potentially a working shift lever. We will see. That might have to do for another day or another car. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it, and I hope you guys really enjoyed. And yeah, that's all I got for y'all. I'll catch you later.